Is it as simple as the stress being on the manhood of Christ in the first three Gospels and the deity being the last three Gospels? I think in some way it can be that simple. But in other ways, it's really not whenever you're talking about apologetics. Whenever you're talking about somebody from the outside looking in and looking at the Gospels and never having believed the way we do and not having a stake in the game for Jesus to be God, they don't look at it that way. They see these as the earlier Gospels and a later development coming in John, and Christianity probably going through some type of evolution early on. And therefore, this is the reason why these earlier Gospels don't teach the deity of Christ. The later Gospel, John, does teach the deity of Christ. They used to place John all the way into the 2nd and 3rd century until a certain papyri was found that definitely put it into the 1st century. But that because it had seemed to develop so much. If it had developed so much, it has to be a 2nd or a 3rd century document. But it keeps on getting pushed back and pushed back with finds that we have in the manuscript evidence. And whenever we found this particular manuscript, then it's called John Ryland's Papyri. And once we found it, then it pushed all the way back to the 1st century. So it's a lot less time for it to be for Christianity to evolve. But again, from an apologetics perspective, this is very important because we're trying to answer that question. What did the gospel writers, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, believe about Jesus?